Sometimes on the exam, they're going to have this equation, solve for n or solve for r. For A, you'll find that they'll say this same question, but they'll add the word algebraically. For B, they won't add the word algebraically. In fact, for B, we're going to find out that the best strategy is just to use guess and check, and it's with some logic, and it's not too bad. But for the first one, they're going to say solve it algebraically. And by solving it algebraically, what they're looking for is, can you use the formula? In this case, NP2 means n factorial over n minus 2 factorial equals 56. And according to the formula for an exclamation mark, if I had something like 10 factorial over 8 factorial, and you had to do this in your head, what's the answer? Yeah, you cancel them out. So imagine canceling out a bunch of stuff. What's it going to equal to? 90, right? Because you can see that when you expand the top, it's going to get to 8 and go all the way down to the bottom and all the way down to 1. And the bottom is going to start at 8 and go all the way down to 1. So these will all cancel out, and you just be left with 10 times 9, which is 90. You can do the same thing even if it's n's. You just have to first decide which is bigger, n or n minus 2. N is going to be bigger. So when we start expanding this, it would be n, and then 1 less would be n minus 1, and then 1 less would be n minus 2, and it would keep on going, so I'm going to put an exclamation mark after n minus 2. Because n minus 2 would then be n minus 3, then n minus 4, and go all the way down to 1. But I have an n minus 2 on the bottom, and now these will cancel out, and it's still equal to 56. Now I have n times n minus 1, and if I expand that, I'd get n squared minus n equals 56. And they have to say, when have I seen a question like this before? And how do I solve it? Move over the 56 and factor. So n could be 8 or n could be minus 7. Another thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to check these to see if they make sense. Okay? Factorials only work for positive numbers and for 0. So if I put in minus 7 in here, minus 7 factorial doesn't make sense. So this one is an extraneous root. And that's how you would solve that one algebraically. Using a guess and check method for this same one, remember that the n means that's the number you're starting with, and the 2 meant how many spaces. Can you think of 2 numbers in a row, when you multiply them, give you 56? Times table. 7 and 8. So the first one, if it's the bigger one, would have to be 8. The second one would have to be 7. And you would know that since this is the number that you start with, that n would be 8. That's using guess and check. That's not algebraically. So on a question like this is generally on an exam worth out of 3 marks when they say algebraically. If you just use the guess and check technique, you would get 1 out of 3 for getting the answer without showing it algebraically. However, for one like question number 2, algebraically does not work out nicely. Because if you use the formula, in this case, you will get you will get 5 minus r factorial, and you can't expand either of those to make anything cancel out. So it doesn't work nicely. However, if you go, I know it's equal to 20. I know there's going to be spaces. R is the number of spaces. Will it be 1? No. 5 is not equal to 20. So add another space. Will it be 2 spaces? Yes. So r is equal to 2. You can do that on those ones, and they won't say algebraically in that case because there isn't an algebraic way to solve that. Some crazy algebraic way.
I did it for the binomial theorem, and it is so confusing on the online thing.
Okay, so maybe I don't give you the online ones for this unit, and you just watch what I do. Fair enough.
Yeah, because the binomial one.
It's a little bit messed up. Okay. Oh, and the question for this one is number 10. Okay.